Welcome to this month's Your Investment Property Case Study. Today we're going to meet a couple who thought they'd invested in their future but came across some major problems along the way. Located in Sydney's northern suburbs, Turramurra was the place where Jeff and Val Waring thought they'd found their perfect investment. The property is located near Bobbin Head Road, an area which has just seen 13.1% growth in house prices for the last 12 months to April, and has a weekly median rent of $580. I'd like to find out more about this property, so I've come down here today to meet the owners, Jeff and Val. Hi Jeff, hi Val, how are you? So I understand that you've bought this property as an investment to fund your retirement, and it's not quite worked out the way you wanted it to.
Well, we had been looking for a very long time. Difficult to find a property as suitable for the purpose that we wanted to use it for, which is dual occupancy. So when we found this property, it ticked all the right boxes in that regard. Great location, good size for the development.
The other thing that was very attractive to us was the property just next door had recently been subdivided and 2 properties had been put onto that piece of land.
Before putting in an offer for the property, Val checked with local council. Although situated in a fire evacuation zone, the council said this zoning didn't prevent dual occupancy development. Val and Jeff went ahead and purchased the property. But unfortunately, there was trouble ahead.
There is a lot of development going on in North Turramurra, and I heard a rumour that they had stopped certain developments happening in the area. Rushed down to council, once again provided them with the address of where we are, and they let me know that no, we were still, although in a bushfire evacuation zone, still able to go ahead with dual occupancy.
Okay, so sigh of relief, still go ahead.
Yep. We finally decided on the basic design of the 2 properties that we were going to put on here. We engaged arborists to come and look at the tree situation, really got the wheels in motion. And that was when we found out that we couldn't proceed with the development as we planned it.
So what a change. You've been to see council in January, You've been told yes, you can go ahead.
The law had changed and you were no longer allowed to develop dual occupancies in a bushfire evacuation zone. And that law had changed on December the 19th. I had been into council before putting the offer in on this property on December the 15th. And we exchanged contracts on December the 19th. So council should have known all that time before.
Okay, so you've done your homework, you've bought this property, wanting to subdivide it. You now have a property that you can't subdivide.
Yes.
What we've got to do now is have a look at how you can go forward with this investment. And we've tracked down Ian Pepper from Property Penguin to help Jeff and Val with their decision. You've been in the property industry, I understand, for 15 years?
Yeah, and we set up Property Penguin 12 months ago to actually help people like Jeff and Val project manage the whole investment purchase, the investment home loan and the conveyancing.
Right.
And what we have access to along the whole way is industry experts in the different areas, because what quite often happens in these cases is people don't know exactly where to go for that expert advice.
So a good idea to contact somebody like yourself before you go down this path. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, let's go and meet Jeff and Val and we'll see what you have to say to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So that is the bottom line. We should hold on to it if we feel we can afford it, and try and recoup 3-4 years down the line.
Before I'd come to that conclusion, I would definitely get an independent valuation, because estate agents are very good at giving you assessment right now. That's what he thinks he might be able to sell the property for.
Let's have a look at how much Jeff and Val have spent on the property so far. Their total investment to date has been $998,000. Their revenue has been $152,000. That's from their rent and effective negative gearing. So their total net investment so far on the property has been $845,000. The property has been valued at $690,000. That means to date, Jeff and Val are facing a net loss of $155,800. So where should they go from here? Your Investment Property magazine has sought out additional professionals to offer further advice to Jeff and Val on their troubled investment.
Generally, you have 3 options here. The one option would be to sell with the property as is. The second option, reapply, get a development application, go to council and possibly land up in the Land and Environment Court. And there's another option where you could actually get it rezoned as commercial.
Should Jeff and Val hang on to it in the hope that the value increases over the next 5 years?
If they are negatively geared and actually subsidising the growth at a rate that is larger than the growth currently is, it is something I probably wouldn't consider. I would definitely change it to a commercial type property, medical suites for example.
By doing so, Alan estimates a $400 jump in weekly rent. This will also increase the property value by about $300,000. I'm good. Let's go and have a look at the property. Getting back to the major problem with this property, which is the zoning, we've brought in the Ku-ring-gai Mayor to find out if Jeff and Val can do anything about it. Is there any chance that Jeff and Val would be able to change their actual zoning so they're not under the bushfire evacuation zone?
This property itself isn't right in the middle of the bush area, however it's right on the corner of the busiest peak under evacuation period. So I'd say it'd be highly unlikely. With that said, there are options for this property, options such as being able to put a childcare centre or being able to put owner occupation, being a dentist or maybe medical suite. However, the conditions that go with that is one of the dentists or doctors would have to live on site and they could only have up to 3 dentists or doctors working at any one time.
So the commercial option is looking good. But like everything else attached to this property, there's a catch.
The reality is that a commercial security is a higher risk security. They tend to have longer leases, which also unravels into a longer vacancy rate. So they have a higher risk associated with them.
Your Investment Property magazine have brought in consultant Michael Lee from Mates Rates to talk to Jeff and Val to see how he can help them retailer their mortgage to save them money.
Whatever's in credit in that account every day, basically it's been included as part of the balance of this thing.
It's very similar to an offset account. These loans, in fact, are $30,000 smaller because we've set the line of credit up. So your total borrowings are the same across all of these loans. Whereas in an offset account, your total borrowings would all be here and a little transaction account would sit here. The bottom line is every cent that you've got in there every day offsets interest because it's a loan account in itself. Okay. So when we put that structure together, the bank that came out is Colonial, which is Colonial Commonwealth Bank, and they came out with an interest rate of 7.27%. Now that compares to your current lender at 7.99%. So there's some pretty substantial savings straight off the bat. Yeah. Now
We'd like to know what you, as a property investor, would do under these circumstances. You can either sell the property, take the hit and walk away. You can keep hold of the property and hope that the property is going to increase in value over the next 5 to 7 years, or you can take the third option, and that is to change the usage from residential to perhaps doctor suites or dentist suites, therefore getting a higher rent and therefore the value of the property increasing.
Waiting for the property to perhaps increase in value is not my preferred option. I think I would rather sell it now, cut our losses and move into something more profitable.
What I'd be inclined to do is sit on the property and do nothing. And I'm saying that based on the fact that history has shown us for many, many years that Sydney property prices increase and continue to grow over a 7 to 10 year period.
If it were to change to commercial usage, it would definitely be an option. On the proviso that the owner actually does seek counselling on what the actual cost would be in order to reconfigure this property to suit that need and then check it against his return on investment.
We'd like to know which option you would take.